Alright guys, back in the shop. You can see I got that filler sanded down. Very little filler. Once you sand that down, it's just tiny little imperfections. Still got one in here that I gotta do. And it's 38 degrees out here, so I gotta heat it up. I don't know if I mentioned in previous videos over the years, but since I moved here, this has only worked like one season. And then it stopped working. I had no clue what was wrong with this thing, and it turned out it was just the thermocoupler, this part right here. Okay, it was a $15 part, and that's what kept it from working, is this thermocoupler here. This senses the flame. If it can't sense the flame, it will never turn on. And so I had disconnected my thermostat to it because I thought it was a bad thermostat, and just wired up, you know, a switch, and so now it works. Yeah, it's a real old school furnace, but it works real good. So it takes about an hour to heat this shop up. It's a pretty big shop, and you can see it's a bit of a mess in here. So it snowed the other day, so it's a bit cold in here. So I'm gonna get this heated up and get back to work on this dash and these other parts. All right, so the customer that ordered this dash, he lost communication with me in the end of October, early November. It's because my phone had broken and I had not fixed it. And I guess that's his way of communication with me, was through text messages. I don't think, I looked at my email, I don't think there was any emails. There might have been, but I don't think there was. So he thought like I up and took his money and wasn't gonna send his part. So, and my daughter got married in the end of November, like November 23rd. So we had that going on. So I really didn't have time to communicate with my customers around that time. What else? And like I said, I didn't get any email, so I didn't think anything of it. But I guess in that time he was trying to text message me, and he was like, what the heck, this guy's not replying. So I don't blame him. So he opened up a PayPal dispute, you know, to say, hey, tell PayPal, hey, I didn't get my part. I think this guy ripped me off or whatnot. And yeah, so they held his money for the part. And yeah, they said I have until the 6th, to January 6th, to ship this part out, or he'll win the money. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tell him, if he watches this video or not, I'm not sure. He didn't. I don't think he knew about my YouTube channel either, which I don't know why. I'm thinking in my mind that everybody knows my channel, but in reality, not everybody does. But I thought he did, so yeah, I should not assume that everybody knows my channel that buys off me, but I don't know why I think that. I guess because I put my channel on my Facebook, on my website. If you go to my website, Night Rider Shop, you'll see a link at the top. It'll say YouTube or Facebook link. It's kind of small though, but it's there. But if you're looking on your cell phone or something, I could see how you can miss that, because those little icons look tiny on a cell phone. So yeah, yeah, I have it till the 6th. So, and then he emailed me saying that he wants me to ship the part to a different address. So I can't do that, because now if I ship it to another address, PayPal's going to go, well, you didn't ship the part, and they'll give him the money back, and then I'll ship the part and I'll be out a part. So he'll get his money and the dash. So I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is let PayPal refund his money on the 6th, and I should be done with this within a few days. I still got to primer it. I'm probably going to have to primer it in the shop, because it's getting way too cold outside for me to even get this out there. It's like 20s. Today it was like 40 degrees, and it's just going to get colder. So I'll probably have to primer it here in the shop, which is not a big deal. I took my cars out this winter so I can get these parts done. And yeah, so he'll have to rebuy the dash. And just FYI guys, the dash prices are going to go up. The post office is charging me an arm and a leg. I've shipped out 2 dashes, and this is an irregular shaped dash. You can't really fit it in a box without getting a box this wide, which is pretty big. So what I do is I ship it irregular, But I've never had this happen. I pay, usually it's about $100 for shipping, but the post office has been emailing me telling me I owe them another $80, on one dash that I sent to a guy, and then another dash they said I owed another $60. So the last 2 dashes I shipped out, they're telling me I owe more money on top of what I already paid for the part. I think the post office is working with UPS. I don't know if they're more strict. I know they're more expensive, but they shouldn't be doing that. But for whatever reason, they are. Welcome to to 2022 and 2020, 2021, where everything's more expensive. It's just ridiculous, guys. It's pissing me off, because if anybody watched me for the last, I don't know, 13, 14 years that I've been doing this, you know that I don't like to charge a lot of money for my parts, but it is what it is. I can't control that. PayPal's, the fees, they're getting more money on PayPal fees. They're taking more money on my shipping. The material to get it here is costing me more money. My resins are costing me way more money than what it used to. So everything's going up. Body filler price has gone up. My primer prices have gone up. Just to get a gallon over here is costing me, $20 more. It's costing me, $10 more for filler. It's costing me like $50 more for the resin. It's just getting ridiculous, to the point where I'm like, man, they're taking that little bit of profit and they're just squeezing it out of me, to the point where I'm just, I'm gonna get to the point where I only make like, $400 off a part. And these are finished parts and primer. A lot of material goes into it, Let me explain to you what goes into one part. All right, so a lot of you guys might think, oh, making a part, that's easy. It's cheap. Resin's cheap. Okay, yeah, but you got to also think of labor. How many jobs do you get a technician out to your house for HVAC or plumbing? And it's a simple thing like putting a new valve on your heater, or a new switch, a new sensor, and they'll charge you $500 for, 3 hours of work. Okay? Plumbers, they charge like $100 an hour. Same thing with electricians. They're usually 60, it's very expensive. So if you look at this dash, just to lay it up takes me a few hours in fiberglassing. I have to gel coat the mold. That takes me, 30 minutes to do. And the gel coat, you got to buy your gel coat, which I don't have none here. But the gel coat, it costs you a good $100 for 1 gallon now. And the price has gone up. It used to be a lot cheaper. It used to be like $60 a gallon or something like that. So now they're charging me like, and I have no composite place by my house where I live. So I'm paying way more now than I used to in California, because I used to have a composite store real close by, and they'd give us, way better deals. So I could buy a drum, for really cheap. So now I'm paying like as if I'm just like a hobbyist, somebody doing it, just for not business, for themselves. So I'm paying way more money for my material. The gel coat is like $100, and that only does like 4 parts. It's like you need like a quart per part, and so that's, break that down. It's $25 to gel coat this. And then you got your resin. So the resin used to be, it's typically, you could go somewhere and get resin for $40 a gallon. I used to pay, I think it was $120 a pail for 5 quarts. I'm sorry, 5 quarts a pail. And like I said, I used to pay like $120. The most I used to pay was maybe $150 per pail. And so now I've been buying it online, which it hasn't been that bad. I think I get like, five of these small, I'm sorry, they're gallons, not quarts. When I said a pail is 5 quarts, it's 5 gallons. So I'll get 5 gallons for, I think it used to be like $160. And so now I go to buy it and it's like $250, okay? It's gone up almost $100 just right there. So, you need at least 1 gallon to make 1 part. Sometimes a little bit more than a gallon, maybe a gallon and a half. So let's say it's 1 gallon, okay, per part. So that's $250 you're paying for 5 gallons, okay? I don't know what's 5 into 250. What is that? 50. I think it's $50 a gallon, okay? So that's 50 bucks on top of the 25 for the gel coat. That's 75 bucks in material right there. And then what else you need? And then that pretty much makes you the part. And then you need your fiberglass mat, and that, let's just say that's 20 bucks for that, you know, because in material for that, because that's still fairly cheap. I think this roll cost me a few $100s. It lasts quite a bit, but let's say $20 in material. So you're at, you know, 75 plus 20, 85, 90. Let's say $100 for the material to make one part, guys, which doesn't seem bad. You know, I sell this for, I think about a little less than $1,000, like $950, $900 or whatever it is, finished. So you got to think. And then shipping used to be like around $100. Now they're charging me almost double. Okay, they're saying I owe them another 80 bucks. So now they're charging almost $200 for shipping. And so you got to look, because that's $300. That's $200 for the $100 for the material and $200 for the shipping. Okay, that's 300 bucks. So I sell this for 900. That's $600 profit. Seems pretty good. But you, like I said, you know, the layup takes a few hours. You know, you got to have you got to have a mask. Those masks, they only last like a month, and they're about 30 bucks. Per mask that you buy. These, I've been getting these at Harbor Freight, which aren't the best masks, but they work. Okay, so you need a mask. Some people work without masks, but I wear a mask. And this is a long rant video, guys, on how much I pay for all my stuff, so you guys can know, because I feel bad that I have to raise my prices up, but it is what it is. So what else? So when I'm building these parts, when I'm popping it, they're never perfect. You got a seam line. You got to, like on this dash, there's a seam line that runs through it. You got to make sure every little nick and everything's smoothed out. You know, if you got a low spot, you got to fill it in a little bit. You know, little air pockets or whatnot. So you need filler. So these fillers are, I think, $60 per gallon. That lasts a while. Okay, and then sandpaper. You know, always got to buy sandpaper. I use a ton of sandpaper. You know, it doesn't cost too much. 20 bucks, 30 bucks a roll. And then what else you got to do? You got to buy, once you got this all ready for primer, then you got to do your cuts. You always got to buy new blades. That costs money for new blades. Okay. And when you go to primer, this stuff is, I don't know what I'm paying, 80 bucks a gallon now with shipping. And this is 1 gallon, so that does about, I don't know, 4 parts. So that's another material cost I didn't look into. So the primer itself, that's 80 bucks. So you're looking at, you know, 4 part, 20, 40, 60, 80. So $20 on top of the material. That's another 20 bucks. And then you got to have good sprayers. You know, these don't last forever, but you got to have a good sprayer to spray your stuff. You got to have a good compressor, air hose, everything functioning. What else? And then, you know, you gotta get it sanding. The sanding part takes me the most time, guys. Okay, when I sand these down, I usually take about 5 hours to sand one part. That's like if I was to go from start to finish, 5 hours. So usually I work a couple hours on it, and I'll do something else, and I'll come back, work another couple hours. So it takes me a few days to work on these dashes because of that. Because I don't work on it straight all the time. Sometimes I do, but let's say it took me 5 hours. That's 5 hour labor. How much is somebody like this going to charge in a shop? A shop, what are they going to charge you? $100 an hour? You know, at least in a shop. So that's 500 bucks right there to have someone. They might not charge you that much to sand it down, because those guys are pretty fast, and they pay those guys like 15 bucks an hour. And I've seen those guys at body shops. They use the palm sanders. These things, and they're pretty fast. But everything I usually do is I usually hand sand the stuff. I usually only use the palm sanders to get down like the filler if I want to get it done in a hurry. But I usually hand sand these with blocks. You know, I got different size blocks that I use, Dura blocks, these other type of blocks, foamy ones. So it takes me a little longer. So anyways, so you get the labor to sand it and get all the imperfections out and do your cuts and whatnot. And like I said, if that was a shop, that'd be a good 500 bucks just right there to have them sand it and primer it. and then they're going to charge you a lot to primer it too. It's just the way it is. So again, my profit here for making it and finishing it, we already took 300 bucks off of the 900. That's 600 bucks, a little less than 600. I'm probably, after everything, it's probably more like $500 profit. So you got to think, I'm practically making the part and finishing it for cheaper than if you were to buy an out of mold part off me and then take it to a auto body shop and say, hey, I want you to grind this down and get all the imperfections out, fix it. They're going to charge you probably at least $300-$400 for that, for any shop. But I don't know, with COVID, I should rephrase it. I don't know, with this new world order that's happening where everything's more expensive. I don't know if I should say that either. Well, nowadays everything's more expensive, so I'm quoting you $300-$400. It's probably more like $5 or $6 to have them sand this part down, get it all perfect and primed for you and painted. So if I was to sell this out of mold, maybe I'd charge maybe $100 cheaper. Instead of $900, you'd get it for $800 or $750 or something like that. And still, you're gonna have to pay another $400 or $500. So for me, it doesn't make sense to do that. I prefer just to ship you it primered, no out of mold stuff. And plus, I feel bad if I get a part and it's got like a little chip in it. I feel bad, sending that to someone when I know it only takes me 5 minutes to fix that, but somebody might get it and not know how to do that. And if they take it to the shop, auto body shop, say, hey, could you fix this little chip? Oh yeah, $100. It's like they'll nickel and dime you for every little imperfection in a part, because that's what they do. They're there to make money. Okay, just like me, I'm here to make money, but I'm not here to rip people off either. So I'm trying to get you a good quality part without making you pay thousands and thousands. I've seen fiberglass parts like for other cars like Chevelles and stuff, magazines, and like for a little hood scoop, you could pay $2,000. Little fiberglass parts that they sell. It's like little wings, $800, $1,000, $1,500. I've seen $3,000. So this stuff is not cheap to make, and I'm in America. Everything's expensive here, so it's not the land of the cheap. It's pretty pricey here. And that's why everybody in America takes their business to China and has China or Mexico, where the labor is cheap. Because labor here will be too expensive to have anything like this made up and try to make a profit. I'd say if somebody was like me in America trying to sell these things and had a company build it for them, these would be a good $2,000-$3,000 a piece. They're not exactly like factory items that you're buying. You're buying custom stuff. So yeah, so I can't feel too bad. I'm gonna raise the price on this dash probably to $1,200, $1,300, somewhere around there, shipped with finished and primer. That's on this. I'll try to keep my bumpers down where they're at now, because they haven't hit me on the shipping on those yet, and I think it's only because this part of the dash comes out here. So what they're doing is, it's a regular shaped package, but they're trying to measure from here all the way around and saying that's the width. And technically it is, but it's an irregular shaped dash. So there's another setting in the system for the post office where they can get it a little cheaper, because it's irregular. It's not this shape all the way through it. So yeah, but again, it's out of my hands, guys. I feel really bad, but here it is. I've been selling these since 2000, finished condition in primer. I've been selling it since 2000, I want to say 14, and I haven't raised my price, I don't think, a dime since then. So here I am. This is almost 7-8 years later. So everything's going up. They're saying that everybody's getting paid better, which is baloney. My daughter works for Walmart. She's making $12 an hour. They're supposed to be making 15. I know other people that are working and they're still getting minimum wage. I don't understand what's up with that. But yeah, so everything's going up. So unfortunately, Night Rider Shop's dashes are going to go up too. Like I said, it's going to probably be around $1,200 to $1,300 for this same dash finished to go out. And it's just due to materials going up. I don't know if anybody looked at wood. It's ridiculous. Anything with wood is just, it's expensive. That's why you see me, all my little scraps of wood over here, just, you know, because you never know if I might need a little piece of wood, because I'm still updating my house. You know, it's just, wood is just extremely expensive. I think a 2x4 is like $5 or $6. It's just insane. It's almost like they're doing this on purpose. They want to kill the dollar. They want to kill cashless society and make a new world order where it's just a global currency or something. Who knows? But yeah, that's the rant for this video on pricing, and I'm gonna end that here because I can talk and talk for days on this stuff. All right, so the customer that was buying this dash, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna refund your money on PayPal, and I'm gonna make one more video of this when it's finished, so you can see it. But I'm gonna refund you by the 6th of January, and it's up to you. If you want the dash, go to my website and rebuy it, and I'll have this one sent to you. If you change your mind, you're tired of waiting, I can understand that, and I'll refund you. And I have another customer that ordered one of these, and I'll just send it to him, no big deal. But anyways, this is where I'm at from the other day when I was working on it on 25th of December. Here I am. My wife's birthday was on the 1st of January, so I haven't worked on it since. I get to working on it right now. Alright, just got the defrosters cut out, and there they are. Okay, so I don't know why I even glass these up. I could literally just avoid this area, but I do it anyway. And they're pretty thick. Those just end up going in the trash. Then I'll go and make this line nice and straight. Alright, so I got the vent cut out here. Okay, I left a little section here in the middle because it's kind of like that in the original. It has a little piece that where the vent doesn't go all the way across. And I had a little imperfection there, so I cut a piece of, take a little Bondo spreader. What I do is cut off the end smaller here. And I'll toss that one away. And that way you can reach in the little imperfection areas. Places like this, you can put your filler on here and just dab it right over the small spot there. And there's a little, even though this is most likely going to be cut out, I'll use this here and I'll put some filler right in this little imperfection right here. And this works perfect for that. Getting out any little tight reach areas. Alright, I put a little more filler on this edge. Sometimes you gotta do a couple coats to get that perfect. A little bit in here. Got this little imperfection out here. Okay. And it's just about dry. Got the heat on, so it's drying a little bit quicker today. And I'll go ahead and sand it off and show a video right after. Alright, there's the dash, almost ready for primer there. Just got a couple little spots there, just a couple pinholes, so I just skim coated there. I just gotta sand that. There's a little tiny imperfection there, sand that, and then I'll be done. All this is sanded nice in here. Put a couple holes for when the customer gets it, you can cut this out. Put a hole here so they can cut this one out too. Got a couple little pinholes there on the seam line, so I'm just gonna wait for that to dry. So I just gotta sand here, a little bit here, little nick there, and it's done, ready for primer. Show you the bottom. Okay, that's all been skim coated on, all the imperfections filled in and sanded down. This is always, I always put filler here because it's kind of wavy. I try to flatten that out. And that's because of my mold. So next video, I'm going to stop here. getting late. Next video I'm going to have this primered and I'll put it up on YouTube for customers to see. Alright, that's it for this video, guys. That's the dash. Me filling in all the little imperfections. This part here, it slides in the dash. You won't see it, but I still want to fix this so it's nice and flat. Again, this whole lip, I added, I think about 1.5 inches more to this lip. The original, which this is an original, it came back a little bit short, so when you put it in the dash, you would see a little bit of a gap. So I just added a little bit longer, just to improve the look of the dash. When you're looking in from the window, you won't see a little gap there.